Continuing our reading in Flowers for Algernon by Daniel Keyes. This will be the second section. Progress Report 6, Ma 15. The operation didn't hurt. He did it while I was sleeping. They took off the bandages from my eyes and my head today so I can make a progress report. Mr. Numa, who looked at some of my other ones, said I spelled progress wrong, and he told me how to spell it and report too. I got to try and remember that. I have a very bad memory for spelling. Dr. Strauss says it's okay to tell about all the things that happen to me, but he says I should tell more about what I feel and what I think. When I told him I don't know how to think, he said, try. All the time when the bandages were on my eyes, I tried to think. Nothing happened. I don't know what to think about. Maybe if I ask him, he will tell me how I can think now that I'm supposed to get smart. What do smart people think about? Fancy things, I suppose. I wish I knew some fancy things already. Progress Report 7, March 19th. Nothing is happening. I had lots of tests and different kinds of races with Algernon. I hate that mouse. He always beats me. Dr. Strauss said I got to play those games, and he said sometime I got to take those tests over again. Those ink blots are stupid, and those pictures are stupid too. I like to draw a picture of a man and a woman, but I won't make up lies about people. I got a headache from trying to think so much. I thought Dr. Strauss was my friend, but he don't help me. He don't tell me what to think or when I'll get smart. Miss Kenyon didn't come to see me. I think writing these progress reports are stupid too. Progress Report 8, March 23. I'm going back to work at the factory. They said it was better I should go back to work, but I can't tell anyone what the operation was for, and I have to come to the hospital for an hour every night after work. They are going to pay me money every month for learning to be smart. I'm glad I'm going back to work because I miss my job and all my friends and all the fun we have there. Dr. Strauss says I should keep writing things down, but I don't have to do it every day, just when I think of something or something special happen. He said don't get discouraged because it takes time and it happens slow. He says took a long time with Algernon before he got 3 times smarter than he was before. That's why Algernon beats me all the time, because he had that operation too. It makes me feel better. I could probably do that amazed faster than a regular mouse. Maybe someday I'll beat Algernon. Boy, that would be something. So far, Algernon looks like he might be smart permanent. March 25. I don't have to write progress report on top of any more just when I hand it in once a week for Dr. Numa to read. I just have to put the date on. That saves time. We had a lot of fun at the factory today. Joe Kopp said, hey, look, where Charlie had his operation. What did they do, Charlie? Put some brains in? I was going to tell him, but I remember Dr. Strauss said no. Then Frank Riley said, what did you do, Charlie? Forget your key and open your door the hard way? That made me laugh. They're really my friends, and they like me. Sometimes somebody will say, hey, look at Joe or Frank or George. He really pulled a Charlie Gordon. I don't know why they say that, but they always laugh. This morning, Amos Borg, who is the foreman at Donegan's used my name when he shouted at Ernie, the office boy. Ernie lost a package. He said, "Ernie, for God's sake, what are you trying to be, a Charlie Gordon?" I don't understand why he said that. I never lost any packages. March 28. Dr. Strauss came to my room tonight to see why I didn't come in like I was supposed to. I told him I don't like to race with Algernon anymore. He said I don't have to for a while, but I should come in. He had a present for me, only it wasn't a present, but just for lend. I thought it was a little television, but it wasn't. He said I got to turn it on when I go to sleep. I said, "You're kidding. Why should I turn it on when I'm going to sleep? Who ever heard of such a thing as that?" But he said, if I want to get smart, I got to do what he says. I told him I don't think I was going to get smart. And he put his hand on my shoulder and said, "Charlie, you don't know it yet, but you're getting smarter all the time. You won't notice for a while." I think he was just being nice to make me feel good because I don't look any smarter. Okay, yes, I almost forgot. I asked him when I can go back to the class at Miss Kennyon's school. He said I won't go there. He said that soon Miss Kenyon will come to the hospital to start and teach me special. I was mad at her for not coming to see me when I got the operation, but I like her, so maybe we will be friends again. March 29. That crazy TV kept me up all night. How can I sleep with something yelling crazy things all night in my ears? And that nutty pictures. Oh, wow. I don't know what it says when I'm up, but so how am I going to know when I'm sleeping? Dr. Strauss says it's okay. He says my brains are learning to when I sleep, and that will help me when Miss Kenyon starts my lessons in the hospital. Only I found out it isn't a hospital, it's a laboratory. I think it's all crazy. If you can get smart when you're sleeping, why do people go to school? That thing, I don't think will work. I used to watch The Late Show and The Late Late Show on TV all the time, and it never made me smart. Maybe you have to sleep while you watch it. Progress Report 9, April 3rd. Dr. Strauss says, show me how to keep the TV turned low, so now I can sleep. I don't hear a thing, and I still don't understand what it says. A few times I play it over in the morning to find out what I learned when I was sleeping, and I don't think so. Miss Kenyon, she says maybe it's another language or something, but most times it sounds American. It talks so fast, faster than even Miss Gold, who was my teacher in 6th grade, and I remember she talked so fast I couldn't understand her. I told Dr. Strauss, what good is it to get smart in my sleep? I want to be smart when I'm awake. He says it's the same thing, and I have two minds. There's a subconscious and the conscious. That's how you spell it. And one don't tell the other one what it's doing. They don't even talk to each other. That's why I dream, and boy, have I been having crazy dreams. Wow. Ever since that night TV, the late show. I forgot to ask him if it was only me or if everybody had those two minds. I just looked up the word in the dictionary Dr. Strauss gave me. The word is subconscious, ADJ, of the nature of mental operations, yet not present in consciousness, as subconscious conflict of desires. There's more, but I still don't know what it means. This isn't a very good dictionary for dumb people like me. Anyway, the headache is from the party. My friends from the factory, Joe Kopp and Frank Wiley, invited me to go with them to Muggsy's saloon for some drinks. I don't like to drink, but they said we have lots of fun. I had a good time. Joe Cobb said I should show the girls how I mop out the toilet in the factory, and he got me a mop. I showed them, and everybody laughed when I told that Mr. Donegan said I was the best janitor he had ever had because I like my job and do it good and never come late or miss a day except for my operation. I said, Miss Kinnigan always says, Charlie, be proud of your job because you do it good. Everybody laughed, and we had a good time, and they gave me lots of drinks, and Joe said Charlie is a cod when he's potted. I don't know what that means, but everybody likes me, and we have fun. I can't wait to be smart like my best friends Joe Kopp and Frank Riley. I don't remember how the party was over, but I think I went out to buy a newspaper and coffee for Joe and Frank, and when I come back, there was no one there. I looked for them all over till late. Then I don't remember so good, but I think I got sleepy or sick. A nice cop brought me back home. That's what my landlady, Mrs. Flynn, says. But I got a headache and a big lump on my head, and black and blue all over. I think maybe I fell, but Joe Cobb says it was the cop. They beat me up, beat up drunks sometimes. I don't think so. Miss Kinnian says cops ought to help people. Anyway, I got a bad headache and I'm sick and hurt all over. I don't think I'll drink anymore. April 6th. I beat Algernon. I didn't even know I beat him until Bert, the tester, told me. Then the second time I lost because I got so excited. I fell off the chair before I finished. But after that, I beat him 8 more times. I must be getting smart to beat a smart mouse like Algernon, but I don't feel smarter. I wanted to race Algernon some more, but Bert said that's enough for one day. They let me hold him a minute. He's not so bad. He's soft like a ball of cotton. He blinks, and when he opens his eyes, they're black and pink on the edges. I said, can I feed him? Because I felt bad to beat him, and I wanted to be nice and make friends. Bert said, no, Algernon is a special mouse with a operation like mine. He said, well, he was the first of all the animals to stay smart so long. He told me Algernon is so smart that every day he has to solve a test to get his food. It's a thing like a lock on a door that changes every time Algernon goes in to eat. So he has to learn something new to get his food. That made me sad because if he couldn't learn, he would be hungry. I don't think it's right to make you pass a test to eat. How would Dr. Numa like it if to have to pass a test every time he wants to eat? I think I'll be friends with Algernon. April 9th. Today after work, Miss Kinnian was at the laboratory. She looked like she was glad to see me, but scared. I told her, don't worry, Miss Kinnian, I'm not smart yet, and she laughed. She said, I have confidence in you, Charlie, the way you struggle so hard to read and write, all better than all the others. At worst, you will have it for a little while, and you're doing something for science. We are reading a very hard book. I never read such a hard book before. It's called Robinson Crusoe, about a man who gets marooned on a desert island. He's smart and figures out all kinds of things so he can have a house and food, and he's a good swimmer. Only I feel sorry because he's all alone and he has no friends, but I think there must be maybe somebody else on the island because there's a picture with his family umbrella looking at footprints. I hope he gets a friend and not be so lonely. April 10th. Miss Kinnian teaches me to spell better. She says look at a word and close your eyes and say it over and over until you remember. I have lots of trouble with through that you say through and enough and tough that you don't say new and two. You got to say enough and tough. That's how I write it before I started to get smart. I'm confused, but Miss Kinnian says there's no reason in spelling. April 14th. Finished Robinson Crusoe. I want to find out more about what happens to him, but Miss Kenyon says that that's all there is. Why? April 15th. Miss Kenyon says I'm learning fast. She reads some of the progress reports, and she looked at me kind of funny. She says I'm a fine person and I'll show them all. I asked her why. She said, never mind, but I shouldn't feel bad if I find out that everybody isn't nice like I think. She said for a person who God gave so little to, you done more than a lot of people with brains they never even used. I said, all my friends are smart people, but they're good. They like me, and they never did anything that wasn't nice. Then she got something in her eye, and she had to run out to the ladies' room. April 16th. Today I learned the comma. This is a comma, a period with a tail. Miss Kenyon says it's important because it makes writing better. She said, somebody could lose a lot of money if a comma isn't in the right place. I don't have any money, and I don't see how a comma keeps you from losing it. But she says everybody uses commas, so I'll use them too. April 17th. I used the comma wrong. It's punctuation. Miss Kenyon told me to look up long words in the dictionary to learn to spell them. I said, what's the difference if you can read it anyway? She said it's part of your education. So now on, I'll look up all the words I'm not sure how to spell. It takes a long time to write that way, but I think I'm remembering. I only have to look up once, and after that, I get it right. Anyway, that's how come I got the word punctuation right. It's that way in the dictionary. Miss Kenyon says a period is punctuation too, and there are lots of other marks to learn. I told her I thought all the periods had to have tails, but she said no. You got to mix them up. She showed me how to mix them up, and now I can mix all of them up. Of punctuation in my writing. There are lots of rules to learn, but I'm getting them in my head. One thing I like about Miss Kenyon, that's the way it goes in a business letter, if you ever get into business, is she always gives me a reason when I ask. She's a genius, I guess. I could be smart like her. Punctuation is fun. April 18th. What a dope I am. I didn't even understand what she was talking about. I read the grammar book last night and it explains the whole thing. Then I saw it was the same way as Miss Kenyon was trying to tell me, but I didn't get it. I got up in the middle of the night and the whole thing straightened out in my mind. Miss Kenyon said that the TV working in my sleep helped out. She said I reached a plateau. That's like the flat top of a hill. After I figured out how punctuation worked, I read over all the old progress reports from the beginning. Boy, did I have crazy spelling and punctuation. I told Miss Kenyon I ought to go over the pages and fix all the mistakes, but she said, no, Charlie, Dr. Newmer wants them just as they are. That's why he let you keep them after they were photostated, to see your own progress. You're coming along fast, Charlie. That made me feel good. After the lesson, I went down and played with Algernon. We don't race anymore. That's the end of section 2.